Hey guys, Dark Humility here. In closed beta season 11, Prosperity with a Druid build. This is actually my apology video for my poison creepers slash worm slash caster rabies build, as I call it, for the one I made last season. So last season I messed up. I made one with Bramble, a bunch of like percent poison damage, and percent poison damage actually does nothing. So this time we're not focusing any of that. This is just for FCR, and we realized that Poison Creeper only scales on skills, and it's got its built-in negative res mechanic and everything. So yeah, we did misinform the public a little bit in the last time, but to be fair, we did show how strong it could be, despite a lot of wrong items and approaches used for the most part. So it wasn't too bad, but I'm going to clean up that build quite a bit and show that it actually can be even stronger if played a certain way. Maximum FCR, Gust, Poison Creeper, casting it around. It's honestly almost as effective as rabies, which is kind of nuts. It does rival it to some extent, and it's very, very, very powerful. Of course, you have a lot of interesting options. We'll go over the stats, the skills, the mercenary, and the gear, and then of course we will do our typical demos that we always like to do on these. Remember, of course, to catch us live at Dark Humility, twitch.tv, Dark Humility, for the release of the Sacred Tablets, aka the tier list, as it's being called apparently by some. And of course, the new season launch at 10 a.m. PT, May 16th. So, pretty awesome stuff just in general, but at any rate, actually, you know what, this map's even more impressive, I would say. We can do this one, but yeah, we're about to go over the stats, the skills, the gear, and everything else. This build's pretty impressive, and you can actually survive on it pretty well. Of course, you can also take it nice and slow with by turning into a shape-shifting, just like on any summon druid. But I don't know. This one is pretty fun to do, though not nice and slow. So let's check it out. Let's get into it. So for the most part, just enough strength to wear your gear, and the rest in vitality. That will keep you alive, and then max res if you can. It is a skill physical damage build, so mostly, or sorry, not physical damage build. It is a skill-based poison damage build. So for the most part, you just want faster cast rate, and you want as many plus skills as possible, because Poison Creeper has its own built-in damage per skill level, and of course its own built-in negative res as well, or its poison res debuff. So with that plus lower resist, which will lower poison res in monsters as well, you get the lower resist curse. You'll be sitting nice and pretty on this build, and getting maximum faster cast rate will make this build have maximum effectiveness. But yeah, for instance, we have two sources. We got lower resist on striking, big chance to cast. It is a whirlwind barb, so he'll cast it a lot, but he'll also cast it a lot from the blade shield on innocence. That's pretty nutty stuff, honestly. And of course, we also cast it on Meng Song's lesson. So, two sources of lower resist. You're going to be lower resisting everything, and the creepers are just going to do absurd amounts of damage, and it's just going to be a great time. Believe it or not, we last season I was super surprised when it first became viable, and this season with the correct gear setup and better testing, we've determined just how ridiculous this can actually be, which is impressive considering this skill used to be totally worthless. But obviously with 3 creepers, max creepers, it's pretty insane. Anyway, skill-wise, we're going to max out creepers, solar creeper, and carrion vine. Also going to max out the other synergy, rabies. We're not actually going to use rabies though. We're going to use max cooldown gust, so level 30 gust, pretty important. I actually think we're a bit high for some reason. I don't know why that is, but should be 30, so you have the max cooldown reduction on it. 1 point Oak Sage gives us some HP, and then 1 point to each of the summons, which are just basically serves as tanks. And this season, you get 6 wolves with just 1 point, and that's honestly pretty effective. And you don't need to do anything with the ravens at all. But these will keep us alive as we jump around and cast the poison creepers and kill everything. So it's actually pretty effective. Garmund is a whirlwind barbarian. He's going to use Rapture for lower resist. I would use an Act 1 mercenary, but I feel like she's too squishy for this. I've kind of tested it out. I don't think that's the best thing. I think Rapture with Innocence does better than Pus Spitter Act 1. But Pus Spitter Act 1 is definitely a lot cheaper. So this is a Rolls Royce version of the build for sure. Defense for the most part besides that, and also Taunt on Striking will keep the monsters clustered up and confused, which just makes them an easy target for the most deadly vine ever known to humanity. So yeah, good stuff. And then of course we got the Ming song for the skills and the FCR. Once again, don't need any poison facets whatsoever, which is once again something that I showed off last time, and rightfully so. Some of you guys in the comments skewered me because I didn't understand the intricacy of this particular build. I don't get every build 100% right. Heck, I would say I probably get most builds, considering the limitations of beta and not being able to corrupt in beta, but also the limitations of, you know, I always got to give this disclaimer that things could also change after beta as well, as they do the final patch notes. But with these limitations in mind, you know, even with those, I probably only get most builds like 95% right, even with what I can use. So, you know, you guys, you know, it's 100% fine. We try to be as accurate as possible, but to be fair, there are people that I'd call build experts, and they do inform me while I'm testing in the chat all the time. But to be fair, you know, there's not always the right build expert sometimes in the chat. That being said, after doing this kind of testing for literally like 10 seasons now, if you count season 2 all the way through season 11, season 1 was a bit different on the testing. We weren't quite doing this yet, but I got a lot of experience. So, but to be fair, we kind of made an oopsie, so that is totally fine. Anyway, enjoy the poison creeper. So kind of just gust, poison creeper, gust, poison creeper, gust, poison creeper. Putting the poison creeper in a specific spot is nice, but you don't even have to do that. You could also just teleport around, and the poison creepers will kill everything. I have noticed though the damage is a bit better with the directed creeper approach, because right when it spawns it casts poison, whereas the other ones with their AI, they're kind of like bobbing up and down below the ground and whatnot. And it's really no good. But yeah, lots of plus skills, lots of FCR. As you can see, this is all you really have to do. Listen to the wonderful sounds. The poison worms dying. Man, this one chatter that's always in my stream must be so happy that his favorite build is monstrously strong. However, just like all poison builds though, it has a pretty crucial weakness. And that crucial weakness is that, unlike most, crucial weakness is this: you have to go back and pick up loot after they die, because you don't usually stick around long enough for the monsters to actually fully lose all their health. But we do have level 50 creeper, and as you can see, it's pretty insane. Go kill Uber Ancients with some worms. It's a pretty harrowing experience. Let's go. By the way, there's so many insane builds we made videos of last season that are totally unchanged. You should definitely check out my videos for those. The season 10 ones, if you want inspiration or if you want to know how powerful those are by comparison. They're pretty insane. There's so many insane Druid builds, for instance, that we thoroughly tested all last season, and they're just unchanged this season, so we didn't need to retest them. And they're not interesting enough to make a video on because they didn't change them. Well, now that the Maddock is so ridiculous, man. So strong. Just keep resummoning your summons though and they die, no problem. You don't even gotta get close to them. It's disgusting. Like, Druid Summoner is just so disgusting. Like, all the summons. So strong, man. But as you can see, it's not just cows, man. Wow, there are some nasty dudes. And that is precisely why we have summons. You can also go Hurricane, but you don't have enough points to do that and get all your synergies, most likely, so, But Hurricane's not as good as the summons. That's my point. Getting summons plus Hurricane. I don't know, why did I jump into that? Hopefully this does serve as an adequate apology to everyone who understood the mechanics of the build properly last season. That being said, I wasn't too far off. It was mostly gear. My gear was very questionable. I really try not to misinform the public, but there's so many different mechanics in this game. Getting them confused is very easy to do. Summons usually don't get negative res in general, for instance, but some get +% damage though. Anyway, to some extent rabies you could argue is stronger, but this build is super clean, super powerful. Worm Druid is definitely a thing. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this build in the comments below, and obviously See you guys on the 16th for the launch of Season 11 Prosperity. Also, probably 13th or 14th, right after the release of the final patch notes. We'll try to make sure the tier list and whatnot is finalized, so you guys will have all the updated information for what is going on in Season 11. But anyway, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. From the Mad Lad in the Mad Lab. See you guys in and out. Let's get it. Let's smash it. Dark Humility over and out. Let's go.